I'm Edward Warfield. I'm the publisher of CityBiz, and I'm honored today to interview Jenny Morgan, who's the CEO of Basys. Welcome, Jenny.
Hi, Edwin. Nice to be here.
Your career included stints as CEO of VIPS, as well as a period at Sterling Partners. Tell us about your career up to joining Basys, please.
Sure. Well, again, I'll speak for the young ladies out there to get a career in software engineering. So, yeah, I went to college. I studied economics, but I did a lot of computer science work and found that it was much easier for me to get a job in software engineering than economics. And so that's kind of how my career started, Edwin. Had a bunch of different engagements. And then I was fortunate enough to start to work for this company called VIPS. It was very entrepreneurial. It was a small company when I started, roughly about 30 folks. And then I had the opportunity to stay in that business and help it grow and scale. I had a wonderful mentor named Tom Gildy, who helped me advance my career tremendously. And, company just continued to grow. And, I was able to grow with it until Tom retired, and I was able to take over as CEO and grow the business. And eventually we sold it to WebMD. And after working with WebMD for a while, I decided that having been 22 years at VIPS, it was time for me to try something new. So I decided to work with the Sterling Partner folks. They had a growth equity fund in healthcare. It was located in Baltimore. Thought that was a good match for me, and worked there for a while. Learned a lot, but primarily learned that I am an operating girl by heart. So the good news is in my networking and CEO environment, found the gentleman here that was running this company, and we decided to join a partnership up for me to come back in and grow and scale this business as well. And that's what I've been doing ever since, with a whole bunch of really cool, really talented people here at Basys since 2009. That's what I've been doing.
And so can you provide an introduction to where Basys is today and give us a quick overview of who some of your clients are?
Yeah, sure. So Basys has an enterprise benefit administration platform that we use, that our customers use to really process their benefits, their health and welfare benefits, as well as their retirement benefits. We're providing that technology platform through the cloud services, and we do it for self-administered funds as well as third-party administrators. And their clients are really the construction trades and the service trades, where the benefit administration is more complicated because it's called the multiemployer market, Edwin. And essentially it's because you've got trades that work with various employers, various general contractors. So they receive their benefits on top of their wages from the employers that are using their services. So the ability to understand those rules associated with the collective bargaining agreements and the contracts and being able to process those benefits is what we do. So very, very complex benefit administration and somewhat complex technology infrastructure to support it. So we've been doing that. Basys has been doing that for 40 years. I had the opportunity to come in here, 40 years, about a decade ago with, and brought in some real strong technology talent to help us really modernize and grow and scale this business.
And so what impact did COVID have on your operations, and how did you have to pivot during the pandemic?
Yeah. The good news is we had already pivoted, is what I'd like to say. So the fact that we were a cloud-based organization really enabled our customers to continue without virtually any disruption. We knew how to service them through the cloud. And because they were set up that way, the customers that were on our cloud product were pretty much unimpacted by moving. Our employee base, about 20% of them were remote anyway, Edwin. And so they were used to working through a remote environment. And so they were joined by the 80% of us that were going to headquarters every day. So that actually turned out to be fairly seamless for us as well. I was very proud of my technology infrastructure team that really moved fast to be sure everybody had equipment setups in their home offices to be able to operate. So everybody got cameras. We quickly moved to Microsoft Teams, and we quickly worked to a collaboration environment that really allowed us to continue to operate. So pretty proud.
So in 2018, Windrose Health Investors sponsored a recap. Can you tell us about that recap?
Yeah, I mean, so, prior to that, as I mentioned, I joined a partnership with the founder of this business, Edwin, and he and I, the company had been fueled just by the cash flow of the business coming in. So we were doing that thing that a lot of companies do, which you're sort of funding your thing and through the operating income. And we decided that there was a lot more opportunity in the market than we could really sponsor just doing it ourselves. So we went out to see if we could find a good partner to help us continue to grow and scale the business. And we were just so fortunate to find the Windrose Health Investors. They've been just awesome partners to us as we move forward. And that allowed the founder of the business to fully retire. He was really partial retired before I came in. And it's allowed me to continue to grow and scale this business. And it's been really good. It's been really good.
So what are the growth plans? Is it internal growth, or do you have any acquisitions on the horizon?
It is primarily organic growth, Edwin. We have no shortage of opportunity in this market to continue to onboard new customers and grow and scale the software enterprise for existing customers. And we're doing that at a very good clip, and that's moving very nicely. There are some business diversification efforts. I'm very proud this week, Basys has brought on board a new chief operating officer. And so with him in place, Shantanu Paul, I expect to be able to spend more of my time on the business development activities, Edwin, on the diversification. We could have an M&A activity coming in the future, and I'm excited about that possibility as well.
Let's talk about some of your activities outside of Basys. When you and I were chatting before, you mentioned you were on the board of the Federal Reserve of Richmond at a very interesting period of time, 2008, 2009. Tell us about that experience.
So, it's been interesting because, I've sort of had this technology career, but kind of on the side, I've been involved in banking. So I first joined the board of the Mercantile Bank. You might remember, Edwin, big bank here in Maryland. Okay. So I was with that board when they wound up selling the property to PNC. Okay. So therefore I exited the board. And I think through that experience being in having been on a board of a bank and been in the Baltimore community, the Fed folks found me. And so, with my economic, financial background and my technology background, they asked me to join the board of the Baltimore chapter of the Fed Reserve. And, I proudly did that for 6 years. I chaired that board for the last 4 years that I was there. It was just an awesome experience. I started my tenure in January of 2009, and everybody can remember the Great Recession, and those Fed people. Hats off. I believe personally, they had enormous amount to do with us getting out of that Great Recession, kind of intact as a country. Obviously, there were a lot of companies that didn't survive that, but I think the whole organization, the whole company, the whole country really survived it. I give the Fed a lot of credit for doing that. So it was kind of really interesting. Obviously one of the inputs that you get on the Fed board is really what to do with interest rates. And of course, the entire time I was there for 6 years, interest rates never rose, as the Fed was really trying to ensure that there was enough cash in the system to grow the economy. So they did a really nice job. So I'm very proud of that. Okay, of that. And the other thing I did is I did serve on a number of private boards. All of those companies wound up selling. And so those were just terrific opportunities for me to continue to, I call it pay it forward, working with CEOs on helping them think through their growth strategies. These days, I'm kind of focused on the Carey Business School. I got my master's degree in Baltimore with the Johns Hopkins School, and then as they've continued to evolve that into the Carey Business School, I'm having an opportunity to work with them. Particularly excited about a woman in leadership program. They've really created an academy to help women leaders, and I do think that's just a kind of really important to me. And I just wanted to pay something back in terms of my success in my career. So excited about doing that as well.
So while you're talking about leadership, why don't you share some of your central tenets of your management style?
I believe very much that there are not individual contributors in companies. There's an enormous need for teamwork, and I fervently believe that teams that are honest with each other and communicate directly and effectively, I think have the best chances of success. So I just believe in very flat organizations. I believe in organizations where everybody is intellectually honest in their communication. If they're having problems, they ask for help. If they've got issues, they acknowledge them and work together to solve them. And I think if you're doing that and there's a body of trust, Edwin, among your senior team, that everybody knows you've got each other's back and we're all working towards a common goal, which is always around your customers and your employees, I think you just have real success. Okay. And, we have, at Basys, we have celebration days where good things happen. And then we have days where, got to go back to the drawing board and make things happen. And so I think if everybody knows that we're in it together, that team can really gel well, Edwin. So that's why this is the first week I've been back in the office. We just hired a chief operating officer, and he started on Monday, and we all came in. The senior team came in this week, hadn't been together for a long time, to welcome him and help him build some relationships and chat with him about what's happening in the company. And it's been great. We're all going to go out tonight, have a nice dinner, and I think that's kind of how successful companies operate.
So are there any parts of the Basys and or Jenny Morgan story that you'd like to share with us that you haven't told?
I just, I thank you for the time. I think for your listeners, if you're in Baltimore and you're looking for a good career, or if your company isn't doing well, we're growing quite strongly. Our employee base are engineers and project managers and benefit administration experts, and delighted to have you. I always liked, Edwin, working in a small company. I've really thrived in these smaller businesses or mid-sized businesses because you have an ability to be visible. So I always like to tell people, particularly like the Carey Business School grads, don't overlook mid-sized companies, because your ability to influence and make a real impact on a company go up quite a bit when you're in organizations of our size. We're roughly about 150 people. We're growing, we're hiring, and it's fun. It can be a little chaotic at times, but it's a lot of fun to be in companies like this. So don't overlook it. That would be my advice.
Jenny, I want to thank you for sharing your time and the Basys story. And I guess it looks like if I were a founder, I'd be looking for you, because I think you're a founder's best friend.
There you go. I'm definitely, if they're trying to scale their business, that's exactly what I am. I appreciate that.
Thanks, Jenny.
All right. Thanks, everybody. Pleasure. Talk to you guys soon.